Why do people keep hitting her so hard? Don't you want her to succeed? So, if we're asking questions as to why is Caitlyn being subdued to this harassment on the basketball court, it's because we're casuals. It has nothing to do with we are concerned for the targeted hate against Caitlyn. It has everything to do with us just being casuals. We just got here. It's like, he's kind of like what a gatekeeper, right? Okay, so like I was saying, how many of you actually even watch women's basketball? No one. No one watches women's basketball. And in this case, people are actually talking about women's basketball because of Caitlyn. Because Caitlyn is a star, and she's breaking records. They're breaking records of people watching women's basketball because they're watching her. And this is not me just saying it. These are from what the reports I've been reading. I've read a few articles on this. This is a little compilation. But it seems like she is the reason why anyone even cares about women's basketball at the moment. And the reason why anyone is even talking about women's basketball is because of Caitlin Clark. She is bringing eyes to the sport like no other. Like for instance, me, I never cared about women's basketball, and here I am talking about women's basketball. And so this compilation of articles is a little troubling. Almost like if they're out to get Caitlyn. I wonder why. So, in basketball, Caitlin Clark is a minority. She is not being met with friendly open arms, despite her generating so many viewers and new viewers for women's basketball. Despite her helping out the sport, she is being attacked. She is being attacked. I'm usually not sensitive about bullying, but it seems that I came across a number of these articles where there's like this hostility attitude towards Caitlin Clark, who actually watches the WNBA. It seems that the WNBA, women's basketball, it's not very popular. If you're a watcher, please leave a comment below and tell me I'm wrong. But no one watches women's NBA. No one does. Heck, I don't really watch men's basketball, to be fair here. So the title of this article: Caitlin Clark is getting pushed around in the WNBA. Good. Is saying that the debate is not whether or not Caitlyn is getting unfair treatment. He is saying it's purist versus casuals. So he goes on to say, it's all about Caitlin Clark, the 4-quadrant crossover superstar who entered the league as a rookie with Indiana Fever last month. Over the last 2 years, Clark has become one of the most popular athletes in the country. She is single-handedly responsible for the 2 most highly rated basketball games in ESPN history. I'm going to reread that. She is single-handedly responsible for the 2 most highly rated basketball games in ESPN history. Just think about that. Just let that digest. She has brought all those new fans with her to the WNBA. And he goes on to defend that the WNBA was doing well, but it wasn't. And it probably still isn't, despite the growth Clark is having. But if anything, people actually are talking about it, like I said. Like, here I am talking about this. Oh, by the way, she gets called a white, by, what was it, Pat McAfee? McAfee, right? And he came out to, apologize and whatnot. So he goes on, from the very first minutes in the WNBA, Clark has been a target. Actually, she already was before her debut. One of the first Clark-related controversies in the league came ahead of the WNBA draft this year, when future Hall of Fame Phoenix Mercury guard Diana Taurasi warned her that reality is coming. So she's getting like threats from other female players. Or say that the divide and the argument is that it's between the casuals and the purists. That's what he's. I don't think it has anything to do with purists. So here's the two. Like, he's arguing purists say Clark is a great player, but she has to learn how this league works. So, like I said, I'm usually not one for that's anti-bullying or bully sensitive. If you like to, as they say, take a piss. Like as the British people say, if you like to take a piss, you gotta be willing to, you gotta be willing to take criticism as well. All right, so he's arguing that she just doesn't know how the league works, and then he goes on that every single media question and television feature revolves around her makes us angry. I think he's talking about this is he's projecting this is making him angry because everyone is talking about Clark, and just because you discovered the WNBA thanks to Clark doesn't mean she's the only player who matters. It sounds like there's jealousy here from the writer, because the media is asking questions to her directly, to Clark, as opposed to any of the other WNBA female players. I already said that implies female, right? They are not getting asked. They are not getting asked, or they are not having the spotlight. It's her time, She'll need to earn her way there. Hip checks Clark into the second row. Just advocating for that right there, yeah. Casuals. The WNBA, which has been growing, but is still not one of the 5 most popular sports in the country and has never put anything close to the TV ratings Clark does on a regular basis, has a chance to explode the way the NBA did when Michael Jordan entered the league. Why are other teams refusing to talk about her? Why do people keep hitting her so hard? Don't you want her to succeed? So, if we're asking questions as to why is Caitlyn being subdued to this harassment on the basketball court, it's because we're casuals. It has nothing to do with our concern for the targeted hate against Caitlyn. It has everything to do with us just being casuals. We just got here. It's like, he's kind of like what a gatekeeper, right? Like, he's gatekeeping. Like, oh, you just got into women's basketball because of Caitlyn. Shouldn't he be happy that I just got into that? I'm talking about women's basketball because of Caitlyn. Shouldn't he be happy? Instead, he's sour and bitter about it because all you care about is Caitlyn. That's what all the reporters care about. They don't care about my other players, my other diverse players. So this debate, such as it is, was neatly all right. Yeah. So this guy, we gotta say his name again to point him out. Will Leach. This guy, he's saying that Caitlyn Clark's her mistreatment in the court, and this is just acceptable because just get used to it, just take it. Here's some of the other troubling articles
while
I
she's
came
already
across.
down. One of them as young as 12 years old.
That was back.
So that was Caitlyn Clark. Hard foul was welcome to the league moment. So it's like that's the initiation that everyone must pass through. You gotta just take the beating. NBA commissioner says. Who is that commissioner? His name is Adam Silver. Adam Silver was asked about the Caitlyn Clark foul in the pre-NBA finals. Then here it talks about how Clark was hip-checked by Chicago Sky guard Kennedy Carter on Saturday. This is the event that started the whole thing. Yeah. So here's what Adam Silver had to say. He didn't want to get into the nitty gritty, he told Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. He says, as a fan, obviously, it's nothing new in basketball, and there's some sort of welcome to the league moment, especially for herald rookies, Silver said. But of course, I want to see Caitlin treated fairly and appropriately in the league. So he's saying he's fine with it. You know, the treatment that she's been receiving and what's going on, he's fine with it. He's saying it's just part of the initiation. And then he goes on to say that she could take care of herself and that she's a tough player. This Adam Silver gentleman. I wonder where... Yeah. He ultimately adds, the rivalries among clubs and players are ultimately good for the sport, is what Silver says. Yeah. And he goes on to say, at the same time, there's also some larger societal works at work, no doubt. I don't want to hide from that. Some having to do with race, and they're very apparent, he says. I wonder. Let me go over through another one. The New York Post. Whoopi Goldberg defends flagrant foul on Caitlin Clark. This is basketball. As if anyone had to, if anyone cares what Whoopi has to say about this. What does Whoopi know? Let's see. What does this guy have to say about it? Geno Auriema says Caitlin Clark being targeted. Yeah, so this is the current state of affairs that we have reached, guys. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to draw any conclusions to this. I'm just putting out what I'm finding. Like I said, it's a little upsetting, but I guess that's just the way it goes in the WNBA. All right, peace.